GM. Good afternoon. Good evening, Raf. Good morning to anyone joining us from APAC. Really excited to have everyone here today for the fall 2023 kickoff for the Club CPG Accelerator. We got a lot planned for the next 2 months, and we want to make sure everyone that is already registered is going to get the most out of all of the fantastic programming that Raf and Caitlin have been working on, setting up all summer long. If you haven't signed up, but today's session gets you excited and you want to find out more, or you do want to register, just visit clubcpg.com/accelerator. We'll drop it in the notes on YouTube, and in the podcast, you'll get all the details and the link to the registration page. So today we are here with the CPG Accelerator lead, Raffaela Rein. Raffaela, how's your summer been?
Hi, everyone. First of all, thanks for tuning in. Excited to be back here. Excited for all of you to join the program. This is going to be our third season, and it's going to be our best season. We have learned so much, and we have really built upon the feedback from the last season. So I couldn't be more excited. And yeah, thanks, Chad, for hosting today, and for everybody who's joining live and who's watching it later on. And my summer has been great. It's been lovely weather. We have, as many of you might know, we have had a second child this summer. We welcomed so now we're a family of 4. So that was also exciting. And so everything good. How was your summer, Chad?
Great. Excellent. Also, can't complain about the weather here in New Jersey. Spent the end of my summer hanging out up in Maine in nature on the lake. It was fantastic. Got a lot of time to touch grass, as we all like to say, and excited. Can't believe the fall's already here. And we're ready to kick off another great session. So, there might be some folks that are either tuning in today or maybe that are brand new to the Accelerator. That maybe aren't familiar with you and the work that we've already done here and the work that you've done before joining Club CPG. Can you maybe just give us a little bit of background about you, some of the areas that you focused on, and kind of your expertise in the startup world?
Yeah, so I would say I am a generalist. I am originally started out in banking, but realized literally on day 2 that I hated it and it was completely boring. And then I landed my first startup job in 2011. And it was a company that asked me to move from London to Beijing within like a 4-week time frame, and we started building a company in Beijing called Gaopan. It was basically a Groupon clone. Built that up, handed it over to a local management team, and then I was sent by the same company to Australia, where we built what is today Australia's largest fashion marketplace. It is called the iconic.com.au. For all Australians, you will probably know it. So I was one of the first 40 people on the ground, and we really built that from nothing into, today it's a $1 billion company. After that, the same owners, the same company sent me to Taiwan to do the same thing again. And we built a fashion marketplace called Zalora. And after all of that, I was ready to build my first own startup, and which I did in 2013. And I built an education company called Career Foundry, which is today one of the largest online UX design schools. We have about 120 employees across the globe, and we train thousands of people every year to build a career with a future. So today we don't just teach UX design; we also have, UI, web development, data science, marketing, and obviously AI. I exited that in 2018. And after that, built a CPG brand, an e-commerce brand called Vitaloot. And Vitaloot was a healthy drink powder brand, which we sold exclusively on the Amazon marketplace. So it was an Amazon FBA. We sold it on the Amazon marketplace globally, so in the US, in Europe, UK, and exited that earlier this year in January. So and meanwhile, while we were already in the exit process last year, or the year before already, I fell in love with crypto. I'm so excited by the industry, by the potential of Web3. And I was, I heard about the pop drop, joined the pop community. And then when Chris was looking for someone to run the incubator, as it was called back then,
Yeah.
I applied and have been running the incubator, or what we call Accelerator, since then, and gotten my feet wet in all things Web3 and AI, and obviously have been building this accelerator for the last year.
Amazing. We've got I'm following along the comments here. Cantino's there, and he said he didn't even know that bit of Raf lore. So dropping all kinds of knowledge today. And so lots of different experience, different spaces. Now you're getting to see, I think, a lot more. What still excites you about the startup space, today, and particularly like this moment in time?
Well, I love the creativity of startups, right? It's a very unique set of skills you need to turn an idea into an actual company that isn't just a great idea, but can also carry itself eventually. So it needs to make money and be able to employ people and serve customers, and build something that people need or want, or that solves a problem. And that is endless. There's endless creativity. It will never stop. That the world kind of changes and consumer tastes and preferences change, and that there will be a need for better products that make life better or cheaper or easier or more efficient or whatever. And I think they will never go old. So I absolutely love startups. And obviously, so many cool technologies coming up, like the rise of AI that we've seen this in last year, and of course still Web3. I think Web3 has developed so much. It's so cool, actually, all the technological progress we've seen in Web3 this year. And even though we are in a bear market, we will come out of this bear market. And I think it's going to play a huge role going forward. And so I'm excited to be working with the next set of builders in all of these great new technologies.
Yeah, we had a lot of folks definitely Web3 centric in the last cohort. We've expanded this time, and I know we're going to talk a little bit about. I think we're at over 80 participants for this fall, and we'll talk a little bit about what the makeup is there. But for the folks that are in Web3 or even AI right now, what are there some learnings that you've had from maybe your more recent startup experience that you think kind of can help apply to the folks that are in the Web3 and AI space today?
Well, I think the same applies to everyone, right? First of all, you have to find how can you make something that's useful to people.
Yeah.
You can't just slash on a cool technology and do something cool that no one needs. And I think especially in Web3 and AI, we see that a lot now, that people just jump on and they just want to be part of it and they do anything, but often it's not very useful. And actually quite funny, today I looked at the Y Combinator page, and they have a call for certain startups that they're looking for in certain industries, and climate tech is one of them. And they specifically say, please do not apply with a blockchain based climate solution just because it's blockchain based. Yes, blockchain makes, for example, the tracking and verification easier, but it's not a standalone product in itself. Like, it's not a differentiation to do the same as 100 other companies just because it's blockchain based. And so I think that is true for many things I see on TechCrunch and in the media that are AI or blockchain based, that often they don't fill a need. And that's why here we will, in the very first week, go into USP and this accelerator to really think long and hard, okay, with what everybody's building, how do we really serve a unique value proposition, a unique need that we try to fix in the market?
Yeah, I love watching that part and seeing folks, that come in and they're like, all right, tell us, what's the need that you're serving, or tell us about it, and they've got like 3 paragraphs, and you're just like, no, work on it, you can get rid of this, you can get, and then it's like they're 2 sentences by the end of that part of the program. And so talking specifically about, the accelerator, we're going to go through what the next few weeks look like, but just generally, what, for the folks that are joining or maybe still thinking about joining, What do people do to kind of get the most out of it? And what have you seen? This is our third cohort that we're going through now. What have you seen in kind of the previous ones, that for the folks that that you've recognized have really gotten the most out of it? What did they do maybe differently than some other folks?
Yeah. It's very easy actually, and yet hard. But this is a very entrepreneurial program. We're not going to hand feed you stuff. We're not going to do the work for you, because in the end of the day, you're the entrepreneur and you will have to make it happen yourself. But we're here to support you and to give you guidance and to bring you together with amazing mentors, with incredible network of investors, of fellow founders, and it's up to you to really make the best out of those networks and connections we present to you. That means, we will invite a lot of really successful entrepreneurs that are already probably 2 to 5 steps ahead from the startups participating here. So prepare questions for them, because of course they come in and they will talk a little bit about their journey and so on. But if you have a specific problem, or you have to take a specific decision, like really those are the people to ask, because they have walked the walk. They're not just talking about it. And time I think it's the startups that get most out of it are the ones that prepare, and they think, okay, I get together with this great founder, so what specific problem could he help me in my company? And that's, by the way, also unique about our accelerator, because we are a small accelerator, right? We are, I think, 85 teams ended up registering. So it is a small group, and we really have, the chance to talk in this very small circle with the mentors and presenters that are coming in. So yeah, prepare questions. Then don't hesitate to ask for help. We're a small group. Everybody wants to be helpful. So, post your issues and problems and ask for advice. And likewise, if other people ask for help, do also help them, and really just use the community to build that network around you.
Yeah, it's been fantastic on the previous ones, watching everyone jump in, answer questions, recommend technology, recommend people, resources, all kinds of things. So, speaking of questions, if there is anyone watching live, I see we do have a bunch of folks actually over on YouTube right now. If you have any questions for Raf as we're going, just feel free to drop them in the comments. I'm going to keep checking over there, and we'll get some time to that to address those later. But let's jump right into what the next few weeks are going to look like for those that are participating in the program. So yeah, if you want to maybe just take us through, we've got kind of a month by month flow here. We're kicking off this week. What does the rest of September look like?
Yes. So next week, we're going to go into storytelling and brand. That means, as I said earlier, we will go deep into your USP. In previous cohorts, we worked on blurbs, which means, you put what you do as a company in 1 or 2 sentences. But this time we go a step further and really will start thinking about your USP. What makes your offering and your company unique, because that's also very important and will be very crucial when we come to the end of the program and we're about to pitch investors. We want to make sure that you all, have a crystal clear value proposition and why what it is you do is unique. We will also have office hours with me next week. This is something we will try almost every week, that there's somebody going to be there to do office hours where you can come in with questions, chat with each other, and just get a check-in. And next week it's going to be me, but there will also be other people to hold office hours with different areas of expertise. But yeah, please come next Thursday in my office hours, and I can help you sharpen your, USP and blurb. And next Tuesday we have Kevin Degots from Degots, amazing founder. They pulled off such an amazing, several amazing launches in this bear market, incredibly successful. So he will talk to us about community engagement, growth, just such a valuable resource. So definitely come to that. Come prepared with questions. Like, he's so knowledgeable in all of these things, especially coming, building in the bear market. Then the week after, we have Chris Ebling and Sinead Kakar. Both of them are founders, and they will talk about innovations in consumer products and gaming. Very, very experienced founders, and that will be super interesting. And that week we will have office hours with Gregarious from Zealous. He's one of our all-time longest standing members. He's building a really interesting AI product, and you will see him helping out at multiple times. And he will probably also participate in the accelerator himself. But yeah, it's such an interesting product they're building, and yeah, especially around questions around AI and how to build AI products. He's fantastic. Week 4 is sorry, did you want to say something?
No, I was just gonna. I mean, love Greg. Yeah, he's been a incredible resource. It's I just think a perfect example of someone that started as a community member, stepped up, and now has kind of been this leadership role. And there are other folks in the community that are like him, that have been around, always happy to help. To the point where Greg is excited to kind of join the office hours every week.
Yeah. And he has done office hours in the last cohort as well, and it's been super helpful. He's also a serial entrepreneur. It's not his first startup, so he has raised money. He has had successful startups. He has failed startups, so he's incredibly knowledgeable.
Yes. Yes.
Then week 4, we have rewards and tokenomics. First off, we'll have the Third Web, which is one of our partners in the accelerator, and they will talk about reimagining customer experiences with Web3. Really exciting stuff, and they have a whole host of free products that they will also introduce, and it will help you build your products a lot faster if you can build on what they have already built, especially because it's free. And then we also have token proof in that week, talking about token gated retail and the future of e-commerce. Week 5, we will go more into AI and CPG. So the future of AI for consumer products. And I think that's also with Gregarious and another speaker that I think I can't. I think it's not 100% confirmed yet, but it's going to be a good one. Trust me.
Yeah, it's a good point. Everything you see here, and we'll make these slides available for folks. Again, we'll drop it in the comments later on. Everything here is still in flux. I would say the next 2 weeks, pretty locked down, and then after that, we feel pretty good about this to share. But always, just a reminder, things might move around, dates, times, things like that. As the folks that we're getting here, stellar, but have very busy schedules, so sometimes we just have to work around those. So always just like to caveat that up front.
Yeah, and you will see we send actually weekly updates with what's to come, and you will see that sometimes the changes will tell you as much as we can in advance. We also have the calendar. If you haven't subscribed to that, subscribe to it. You'll also get all of the notifications, and if things change, if you subscribe to the CPG calendar and through the emails. Yeah, week 6, it's all around marketing and partnerships. We have Hype Partners come back. They already gave a talk in the last cohort. People loved it. It's Hype Partners, you can say, is one of the biggest marketing agency in Web3. They work with some of the biggest players in the space, and they're very experienced. So, it's a really good one. Come prepared with questions for that. And in the same week, we have office hours with Gali, who's our partnerships manager, CPG partnership manager, and he will talk about how to do collaborations right and partnerships, and he will do a bit of a workshop with that. And you can come really with your specific issues, or like how really ask questions what advice he would give for you to do your collaborations, your partnerships for your launches. Week 7 will be all about art, retail, brand building. So we have Seneca, and he will talk on brand and community building. If you don't know Seneca, he is a legend in Web3, has built a crazy community, and has a fantastic newsletter as well, really big newsletter. So really, that's going to be interesting. And then Trame on craft nouveau, and a bit more on generative art and retail. That's going to be cool. Then we come already to the end of the program, because from November, we will focus on fundraising and pitch week. And first, we talk a bit about how actually to start the fundraising process, how to build investor pipelines, how to calculate your TAM, that means total addressable market, because investors will know how big is your market. And it's always very difficult, especially if you do something very innovative. Yeah, and then in that week we have office hours with me again, so we can talk about your pitch and fundraising strategy. And then really the next week we have pitch practice with different people, like Gregarious will be there again, Caitlin, I think Chad will do a session as well. So there will be different people to practice your pitch with, ask questions. And then in week 10, we come to pitch week. And the last times, that was really the highlight of the program. We get phenomenal investors in, who are looking for the best and the brightest and who are ready to sign checks. So at that point, you really have to be ready, have to show your best. That's why we give, the weeks before, we give so much space for pitch practice to make sure you're really ready by the time the pitch week comes around. I think it will be 4 sessions with, probably like last time, there were about 3 or 4 investors in each session. And then the investors actually also give feedback, which is quite rare. Normally, when you see pitches, the investors just look and say nothing. But here you actually get feedback from them on your pitch, which is super valuable and actually also very entertaining to watch. Like, they're never mean, but it's super interesting to watch and learn from, what other startups are doing well or not so well.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I'm hoping some folks that were in the last cohort that got some of that amazing feedback about either their product or their pitch, and they've evolved. I know some of them will be back for this season as well. So excited to see what the next 2 months looks like for them. So a couple of things you talked about. We do have a couple of repeat guest speakers here. For those folks already on YouTube, or if you're listening to the podcast, go to the Crypto Package Goods Club CPG YouTube page. We actually have a playlist of all of the public sessions from the last cohort, including all of the pitch day sessions. So, if you're someone that's participating, you want to get ahead, or you want to see, what am I in for? Great resource there. Spend a little bit of time just kind of going through that playlist and see, who have we already talked to and what's going to be expected of me by the end of November. But sticking on the pitch week for a little bit longer, can you just give a little bit more detail about kind of what that looks like and really what the benefits of someone participating in pitch week might be?
Well, first of all, it's fun, but moreover, you get, in contact with some pretty large investors. And some people have gotten funding and other people have just gotten feedback, and which one it's going to be is down to you and whether the investor is a fit. But I think the feedback alone is so valuable. And also remember, it's not just the feedback from the investor that you get on the actual day. It's the leading up to it, that the whole team, and we bring in experienced mentors to also provide feedback and really help you, not just on the pitch itself, but also on your whole strategy when it comes to fundraising. And I think all in all, then you should come out of that at the end of, or at the end of December, end of November, beginning December, and feel very ready and feel much more, established in what you do and in the next steps you have to take to actually raise a full round. But it's also very fun, I must say. And every time we see this, the pitch week is what is watch the most, what gets most YouTube views and community engagement, because everybody loves to see the pitches, learn from each other, and of course also cheer each other on.
Yeah, and that's definitely my most fun week of the program. Just getting to see everyone, particularly for those of us that are there in the beginning. So to see someone like that maybe just had an idea or they just launched and they're figuring out, and then being able to get that elevator pitch down, to be able to get their slides to go from, I think I'm going to be able to take 20 minutes, and we're like, you have 3 minutes, and they're like, but it's doable, right? And just seeing the confidence of folks build up, like over those last couple of weeks, where they get to know their business so much better. They can answer the questions. They can
Yeah.
tell people exactly what it is. It's definitely like the most, for someone that's just helping out and watching. It's like the most rewarding part for me. And one of the frequently asked questions that we get is, can anyone that's participating pitch? Like, even if your idea is just in ideation, you're looking for validation. You have kind of a crumb, and maybe you have an MVP, maybe you just have a bunch of slides in Canva, or is anyone at kind of any stage eligible to pitch in that week?
Yes, and we have done it like that the last times, and we'll do it like that again. Because even in the early MVP stage, it's valuable to get the feedback, and yeah, even you can see the different stages. So normally what we do is we split by stage, and that everybody on the MVP stage is with other people on the MVP stage. So everybody should be on a similar level as they go up on sort of the virtual stage and pitch. But yeah, I think it's even very beneficial if you're super early and you're just looking for some early market validation.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, we've got a couple of other questions. We'll kind of get back to what the end looks like later on, but I know a couple of questions that we regularly get. The first one is, how much does it cost to participate? Does Club CPG take a stake? Kind of, how does that work?
Yeah, so we are a non-dilutive program. It's more an educational program, as we put it. That means the cost is a POP token. You have to be a POP member because that's our community, and that's what we build and what we're proud of. And sort of we do this as from the community for the community. But that's all. We're not taking a stake in the company. We're also not investing ourselves, but we do facilitate introductions to investors, especially through the pitch week, and by bringing also mentors that might invest. I think that program that process serves everybody well, because hopefully maybe not every single session might be interesting for you, but there should be a big majority of sessions, and especially the pitch week, should be interesting for everybody. And that is that is what we deliver. We try to give more than we take, sort of.
Yeah, absolutely. But we still always have those like skeptical people of like, what's the catch? Why would you have a non-dilutive? What's in it? What's in it for you? So can you maybe just talk a little bit about like why we have this inclusive model, maybe how we landed here, and what we see the benefits for Club CPG being?
Yeah. So as you all know, Chris and Jamie, the founders, they built a huge CPG company called Schmitz, sorry, it was a natural cosmetics brand. They exited that to Unilever for over 100 million. And then they got interested in Web3, and just wanted to meet like-minded people, really. So they invited other founders they knew, other operators they knew, into this community. And I think it was really meant to be a shared learning community. And then NFTs really took off, like a half a year later or so. And all of a sudden the NFT, the CPG NFT, was worth like 40, 50K or something, and that was when the idea for as a lower entry point NFT was born, which was the pop NFT. But this was never a money making project. This was always a learning project. And also, when we looked around the community at that point, we saw there's a lot of builders, and we thought, okay, this is really the one thing we can give as a value add to the community. At the very beginning, when I started, it was called the incubator, and back then we chose 5 projects and we gave each project 50K. And we were completely overwhelmed with the amount of applications, and we got over 250 applications back then, and most of them actually from the community. And we realized, it's not a very good model if 250 people in the community want this help, but we can only help 5. That's like not very good as a community driven platform.
Absolutely.
And that's why we then decided, okay, no, let's do it non-dilutive. Let's make it more educational, so we can help as many people as are interested in this.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. And again, people always ask like what the hook is, and the hook is just like, nope, it like we're here for the community, like that. It
Yeah.
just for the love of that, which
Yeah.
I just think we stand out so much more than a lot of other folks kind of still
Yeah.
in this space. Um,
But maybe you
so
should also
yeah,
say we do monetize via NFTs, right? That's our business
sure,
model,
yeah.
and so the accelerator is a community service that we can afford because we monetize via NFTs.
Absolutely. And so, looking at, I know Caitlin did some fantastic research into the folks that have already signed up for this cohort. And we've got folks, in consumer goods and NFTs and DAOs, but also in entertainment and gaming and, other forms of tech. Can you maybe just highlight some of the things that I know she pulled out of kind of what
Yeah.
this cohort looks like? So again, if there are folks
Yeah.
out there thinking, oh, I want to start a beverage company, this isn't for me, it might be. Yeah.
Totally. So in general, also over the last cohorts and the community in general, CPG is incredibly diverse, both from when it comes to the type of things people build, but also when it comes to the builders we have in a community. And so, as an example, this cohort, out of the 85 registrations we received, 25% had some level of AI or machine learning in their startup, or were interested in being mentored in AI development and strategy. Then we had 53% of Web3 native projects. 29% were Web2 or traditional businesses that have integrated a Web3 principle. And 1% is even completely non-Web3 and has no plan at all to go into Web3, which is also cool. Then we have 31% are women founded and 21% are BIPOC founded. So that's also, I think, something we can be really proud of. I know it should be 50-50, but it's just a tech reality that it never is. And 30% of women founded, for example, is incredibly high, as well as the 21% of BIPOC. So I think we can be proud of that, of having tried to foster a diverse community. And I think when it comes to project stages, 27% of the projects are in ideation. So that means they're still figuring out what they're building, they're exploring ideas. 49% are building. That means they already know what they want to build. They know quite concretely. They probably have a team together. And 24% are on growth. That means, they're really ready to start fundraising. Maybe they already have raised a round and are going for the second. So I think that's also quite an interesting split where hopefully everybody can learn a little bit from each other.
Yeah, I love that, that basically bell curve of the majority are in this building phase, but we've got folks, almost just as many folks early on as folks that are kind of already in that growth post-launch, looking to take it to the next level. So there's always someone, there to help guide, to share their experience. There's a lot of folks that have kind of already gone through a lot of these things. So that's fantastic to kind of see us net out in that type of curve. And so, as people go through the program, at the end of it, we also offer a certification program. So, just want to talk a little bit about that, of, what is it? How do people achieve it? What do they have to do to kind of get that? And what are the benefits of it?
Yeah. I think we introduced it in the last cohort, CPG certified. And, especially when you are starting out and you're a very early stage startup, it's all around how do you make customers trust you, or users to use your product. And CPG certified is one thing that can help you. So you see the badge down here, how it looks like. And if you go through the program and you achieve, you get a certain amount of POAPs, then you will get this CPG certified. It's also an NFT, and you can then use it wherever you want, really, on your website or on your pitch materials. And it's something that signals trust. And it signals that, and that's also why we ask you to prove that you participated in a certain amount of sessions, and that you have thought about your USP, about your pitch. So we try to basically check that those startups that get that have thought deeply and really care about their customers from our side, and that they really want to help, and that they're not fraudulent, for example. And so we will tell you exactly how many pour-ups you need, how many sessions you need to attend, and what you have to do to get the CPG certified. Last time, I think you needed 3 pour-ups, and you needed to participate in the pitch week and submit your blurb. And it will probably be something very similar this time. So it's not, we're not trying to make your life hard, but we're trying to make sure that, you really care about your customers and about building your startup. And that brings us to the first pour-up, which is you can get today, and it will count towards your CPG certified. And it is the secret phrase today, blast off.
Yep. So it's blast off, all lowercase, all one word. For folks that maybe aren't familiar with POAPs, go to POAP. So that's POAP.xyz, POAP.xyz. Download the app. There'll be a place there to enter that secret phase. You'll have to set up your wallet if you don't already, but you'll want to keep kind of all of those POAPs in one place. And then eventually you'll want to make sure you attach that wallet to the CPG rewards program. I'm sure we'll talk more about that as we go through the next 2 months, but you'll be eligible to earn a bunch of different rewards as we go along for those POAPs, as well as some others that I know we're planning on having over the next few weeks. And so, you talked a little bit about kind of what it takes, but what is the time commitment that people should expect that are participating in this? The minimum, as well as kind of like what we think is kind of really needed to be successful.
Yeah, as you saw from the program, there's basically 2 or sometimes 3 sessions a week. And of course, you don't have to attend all of them, but maybe pick the ones that are most relevant to you, but then also prepare for them. I think that is the most important, that you really make the best out of them. You don't just sit there and listen, like really think, okay, how do I take advantage of having access to people like Kevin from DGOTS next week, for example.
Yeah.
And he's obviously, for him, it's more fun if people come with questions than if he just, monologues for an hour, I think no one wants to do that. I think he's here, we don't pay him, he does it because he wants to do something good for the community and he wants to mentor. So I think if you come, it will also make him feel happy that he can help. But yeah, it's basically 2 or 3 sessions a week, depending on how many you want to do, and that is basically leads to 2 to 3 hours a week. It can be a bit more when we come to pitch week, or also next week as you prepare your blurb and your USP, because that goes deep into your strategy and requires some thinking. But on the average, I would say 2 hours a week.
Excellent. And we're almost at time here. We want to make sure that we're using everyone's time wisely. We always try and start on time. We always end on time. So maybe one of the last questions for you is, what's your best advice for someone to get the most out of this program? Like what's the one thing that they should make sure that they're doing? We've given a lot, but really, like if they only had time, right? Founders are busy. If, like you said, this is it, what's that one big shiny thing for you?
I would look at the program, and we will message it to you. Highlight the sessions that are most relevant to you, or the founders and mentors that are most relevant, and then really come prepared to those sessions. Plus, definitely join for pitch week and the pitch preparation. These are 2 things, but yeah, I would say these 2.
Excellent. All right, I'm just looking. I dropped a note. Looks like we do have a couple of questions. So we've got one. What's a blurb and a USP? Yeah.
Well, don't worry, we will go into that next week. I will explain it all. We even have a video that we'll show that you can watch in your own time if you want. But a blurb basically means you explain what you do in 2 or 3 lines or sentences. And that's important because it's kind of your elevator pitch, right? And this needs to be crystal clear, because if, say, you meet an investor or you meet a customer, the first thing is they ask, what do you do? And if you take 10 minutes to explain what you do, you will have lost them, especially investors. So that's why I want to bring it down to 1, 2, 3 lines maximum, so that you come across super crisp, super smart, and it actually also helps you distill what is that you actually do, like what is really the core benefit of your product. And the USP means unique selling proposition. So what is unique about what it is you do? Because if you come and you build the next, the 100th crypto trading marketplace, well, chances are very low for you, So, investors especially want to know what is new, what is special about it, what's your secret sauce, and so we want to next week really look into, how can you bring your, how you add value to the world and why it's unique into 2 sentences.
Excellent. We have another question. Someone says, if they have an issue or a question in between all of these sessions, how do they reach out to someone from the program? And maybe just talk a little bit about, the Telegram group and what goes on there, kind of in between everything.
Yeah, if you haven't joined, definitely join our Telegram. We have an Accelerator channel there, and there, we're there every day. So you can always ask questions. You always get the updates there first of anything that happens. Many of the mentors will join there as well and be there for questions. So that is our primary communication channel. Also, if anything is not clear, if you want to network and get in touch with anybody, everybody should be there. So that's the first thing. But if you want, if you need something a bit more, more deep advice and something that maybe takes more brain space, then sometimes Telegram, can be a lot, and there can be a lot of messaging in a day. And that's why we have the office hours, where you can come in with, with a question, and one of us will be there, and help really think more deeply through your issues, or how to best go about a certain strategy, or a set of opportunities, for example, that you have in front of you.
Excellent. And then, someone asked a question around the scholarship. So this is the first time we did invite folks, that maybe were new to Web3, or, didn't know about POP. So we did give out a couple of scholarships. They just want to know, is there any difference between the scholarship experience versus, the traditional token holder? Is there anything they need to be aware of?
No, there's absolutely no difference. We're excited to have you. Thanks for joining. All welcome to all the new POP holders and new scholarship participants, and you will have exactly the same experience as everybody else.
Someone said, they're most excited about building alongside other participants in the cohort, right? Building can be lonely and siloed. I think any founders certainly know that, especially in the early days. Will there be structured gatherings?
Not so much. It's not that easy with our community to do it in a structured way. I think we will have a few offline events as usual for the whole CPG community, but otherwise it's really about sharing and every week we come together on certain focus topics. So just start sharing around these topics, your thoughts, your questions, and build rapport with people that way via the Telegram channel. So it's a bit there where we don't have too much hand holding. It's a bit you have to do the networking yourself.
Yeah, and once you get into Telegram, you'll also see we do have another Telegram channel that is kind of by location. So if you're in an area that's kind of already has a decent amount of pop folks or CPG folks nearby. We always encourage people to try and get together. There are a lot of folks that are members of co-working spaces, or that travel into cities and things like that. So I think that you'll find, along with all the virtual office hours, depending on where you are, there might be the opportunity to at least kind of seek out at least some CPG holders, if not necessarily folks that are actually going through the accelerator as well. Let me check one more time. Someone does have a question. If you have a team, if you already have a team of multiple folks, do they all need a pop token? Can they get airdropped one? Do they need to buy one? How does that, for folks that maybe that are already in that kind of phase 2, phase 3, what's your recommendation on kind of getting the best out of the experience for them?
So to access the Telegram chat, just by how it is designed, you obviously need your own pop token. Unfortunately, there's no way for us to do it any other way. So if they also want to participate in the program, your teammates, then they will have to buy a pop. Otherwise, you can of course designate one person in the team who participates. That's up to you. But just how Telegram is designed and how the token gating works is everybody will have to have their own token, because that's how the community works.
Yep. Thanks for clarifying for that. Hopefully, that'll work out for that person. If not, once you get into the accelerator chat, you can kind of ask for maybe a little bit of help there, and folks will kind of help you figure out how to get the most out of that. Maybe one last question. A person says, let's see, Doc RR. I'm currently doing my residency on a strict schedule. Will there be a direct line with special guests, or just for the Q&A, or will this be as per schedule? And so I think we're going to try and make the schedule kind of as public early on. But can you talk about maybe how if some of those other mentors do they interact in that async kind of way?
Some will, some won't. It depends on the mentor. Some of them are part of the community, so they will be there also async, and especially me, and I'm always there async as well. If you have any questions, just DM me. And because obviously I understand if you have a residency, you might not be able to make all the sessions live or all the office hours. What you could also do is ask your question in advance by sending it to me or to Caitlin, and then we will make sure to ask the guest your question, and then you can always check the answer afterwards. And on the mentor front, some will be there async and some won't, but I will always be there for sure.
Yeah. And on that note, just again, like, huge thanks to Caitlin. She has organized, not only this session, but she's been the one that's working with you on a lot of the details,
Yes.
getting all these folks set up, putting these slides together. So big shout out to her, along with everyone else that makes the Club CPG experience go so smoothly for community members. So just as we're wrapping up here, I just want to jump back in for folks, a reminder. What does next week look like as kind of the true kickoff for this?
Yes. So Monday you will get some info in Telegram from me around how we start on working this blurb and USP. Tuesday next week we have Kevin from DGODS, so definitely come for that and come with questions. It's all around community engagement and growth. And as you probably know, they've had some launches last year, some this year, everything incredibly successful. And then on Thursday next week, there's going to be office hours with me, specifically focused around your blurbs and USPs. So if you struggle, or if you can't condense it enough, or if you feel the unique value doesn't come out well enough, then join those office hours. And again, if you can't make it live, then also just shoot me a DM. But sometimes if you can make it live, sometimes life is easier, because then I can ask you questions back and really have that time to help you.
Excellent. So with that, I think we're gonna end it here. Just want to, Raf, thank you for putting yourself out there, making it available to answer these questions. Again, if folks are already in Telegram, you can start using the CPG Accelerator channel today. If you have not, I've seen a couple people post that they got their POAPs already. Make sure go to POAP, blast off, all one word. We're gonna, I believe, try and keep that open through the weekend. So we're recording this my time Thursday afternoon. So if you're watching this live, if you're watching the replay, if you're listening to the podcast, go and get your POAP now. You'll want to be there for this initial kickoff. And other than that, any last words, Ref?
Well, I'm very excited for it all. I think it's going to be a fantastic program. I'm excited to help everybody specifically on the AI and Web3 pieces of their strategies, if you have any, and also of our renewed CPG focus, which is a huge challenge in itself. Huge opportunity, but really not easy to pull off. So very much looking forward to building with you and helping your ideas really take shape in the next 3 months.
Excellent. Well, with that, we're going to say goodbye. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.